Hey you guys, it's Legendary Narwhal back again, and today we're doing some more magic. We are doing the very first encounter. I'll let you look right here. We're doing Disturbing the Nest. Last episode we did Talrand, so now we're going to do this one and probably Call to the Flame as well. It depends on how long this one takes. I don't want to make these too long because I want to make sure I can upload them pretty regularly without a lot of bother, so hopefully this will be fine. Also, I have realized that I guess somehow my difficulty's been like kind of skipping around. I believe that's what these little icons are. Like this would be the easiest difficulty, this is the medium one, and then all the encounters are set to the hardest difficulty just by default. So I went ahead into the options menu and I set it to the hardest difficulty. So now that won't be a problem for future. Everything should be set to the highest as opposed to this. But anyway, like I said, this is hard already as it is, so let's just jump in here. Now, I have tips turned off, so it doesn't show up on the screen, but the way that encounters work is they have a deck and they have a set thing that they do every time. So like in this particular encounter, you can tell by the portrait here what this is. This is a sun-tailed hawk. The only thing that this deck has is plains and sun-tailed hawks, which are 1/1 flying creatures that cost only 1 white mana. The only thing he will do is play lands and play hawks over and over. That's all that he will do. Normal rules like 4 of the same card to a deck, those things don't apply. So he has 40 cards here, probably like 30 of these are sun-tailed hawks or something stupid like that, so he won't stop playing them. But that's pretty much what encounters are. Just wanted to throw that out there for you guys. But let's see, I do have a pair of very cheap guys here with an ability that'll deal 1 damage. That'll let me ping off a lot of creatures pretty easily. And I've got 2 flyers that are both also fairly cheap. So even though I only have 1 land, this is pretty expensive. I probably won't be able to play this for a while, but even though I only have 1 land, I want to keep it. I don't want to get a new one because hopefully if I draw a land, I'll be able to play next turn. I'd like to, so we'll see if I get the chance here. But as you see, so there goes the plains and there goes sun-tailed hawk. Now, it's easy in the sense that all he has are 1/1 flyers. It's very difficult in the sense that that won't stop. It'll keep on going and going. So like I didn't pick a land, so I literally didn't have a turn. There was nothing I could even do. So I'm going to take 1 damage here. Can't block, don't have any creatures. So that's 1 damage already. So first blood goes to him. And there's his second one. And this pattern will continue. Now, because this is like the very first encounter of the game, that's why it's being handled like this. Normally, it is a little bit more involved. And that was another mountain, so the only thing I can do is play Reverberate, which won't help unless I do the instant or the sorcery, because he doesn't have any. What I really need is an island. If I pick an island next, then I'll be able to get 4 of these out. And I'll be able to do this as well and ping off some of his creatures and get a card. So I'm really hoping for that island soon. I am playing the Mindstorm deck today, and Mindstorm deck doesn't really have a lot of cheap cards in it. Most of the Mindstorm deck can be expensive, and I did pick an island. So at the moment, what I'm going to do, I am going to play these guys next turn, but what I'm going to do instead right now is I'm going to play Electrolyze. So 2 damage divided however I want. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to ping off this one, and I'm going to ping off this one. So I'm going to get rid of those, and that gives me another card, so there's a mountain for me. Next turn I'm going to start playing some of these wee Dragonauts here, these flyers here, and then if he does attack me, I'll be able to block and just kill them outright. Then I'll start playing these Razorfin Hunters and pinging them off 2 at a time to kind of thin him out a little bit. As long as I can get some sort of defense out, I'm not worried about losing, no matter how low my life gets, because he doesn't have anything else. Like, there are no instants, there are no other kind of tricks up his sleeve. This is all that he has. So that's why I'm not worried about that. So I'm going to play that. I'm also going to play a mountain. Next turn, I'm probably going to get out the second Weed Dragonaut, and I'm going to play a Razorfin Hunter. I'm probably going to take the Quicksilver Dagger and probably put it on one of the Weed Dragonauts, more than likely, just so that I can deal damage to a player and get cards. I will probably do that. This deck is very heavy about drawing cards, so there's a lot of that that goes on. Yeah, I see that. That's fine. Ooh, picked up a Living Inferno. This is a very expensive card. I do have 2 of these in the deck. I have thinned this deck to 60 cards. However, it does have a lot of cards that are very expensive. Main reason behind that is just this deck is all about drawing cards. It's all about drawing cards and getting to lands and creatures and thinning out your own deck so you can get things like this. So in a normal situation, I wouldn't dream of having all these expensive creatures here, and it may still be a stupid decision now, but I'm going to try it and I'm going to see how it works. The cool thing about it is instead of attacking regularly, I can tap it instead, and as you see here, I can deal 8 damage to any number of creatures that I choose. And then those creatures deal damage back. So it's kind of like the provoke ability where you can attack and choose who blocks your creature, except I can tap this and then say if he has a bunch of hawks. I can tap this and then do 1 damage to 4 different hawks, because that would only be 4 damage. I have 8 available to deal out, and I would take 4 damage in from them, which won't be enough to kill me. So this guy can ping off 4 hawks at once. Another reason why I picked this deck specifically for this encounter. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and play a Razorfin Hunter, just so I can kind of start thinning him out a little bit more. I am not going to attack, I'm simply just going to wait to block. I'm just going to play a little passively here, which is what I do normally, to be honest, so this is kind of in par with what I would normally do. I don't remember if he begins to play 2 Suntail Hawks per turn later on or not. I actually can't remember. He may start playing 2 per turn later. At the moment, he's still only playing 1. Did draw into another very expensive card, Insurrection, 8 mana, but I untap all creatures and gain control of all of them until the end of the turn. So this is basically, unless this gets counterspelled, this is essentially a game-winning card. It's possible to do this and win at any point. You attack with all of your creatures and all of the opponent's creatures. He has nothing to block with because you just took them all. So that is very, very powerful. And I am going to play another one of these. I am going to use this guy to ping off a hawk as well. So at this point, I have 2 of these guys out. If he continues to play 1 per turn, now I'm going to start thinning them out until there's none left. He won't be able to play them fast enough to replace them in the field. And this Wee Dragonaut is strong enough so that he's afraid to attack me because he knows that whatever I block, I will kill. So he could have been attacking this whole time, but he would have simply been sacrificing a hawk per turn, and at this point, with both of these Razorfin Hunters out, he just can't afford to do that anymore. Okay, let's go ahead and get my second Wee Dragonaut out. I'm going to go ahead and get this dagger on next turn, so I can start drawing more cards, hopefully against more lands. And again, I'm going to go ahead and skip attacking. However, what I am going to do is I'm going to ping off this creature, and I'm also going to ping off this creature. And there they go. So, as you can see now, next turn he'll play 1. I'll do that again. He'll only have 1 creature. Next turn he'll play 1. He'll only have 2, and I'll ping them both off, and then the board will be clear. At that point, I'll begin attacking more with these Wee Dragonauts here, because he won't have anything to block, and I won't need to block, because anything he summons will have Summoning Sickness, and I'll just be killing it with these Hunters here. I'm actually just going to go ahead and do that at the beginning of the phase, because why not? And since he isn't attacking me, because these guys are here to block, I may very well just start pinging him directly instead, because he's not attacking me, and I'm not sure if he will. I'm going to go ahead and enchant this guy, though. Wouldn't make any sense to enchant these, because this involves tapping to do it, and these guys already have a tap ability that I want to keep. So now again, I can't do it this turn because he was just, well, actually, sorry, it's on here. This might be as a sorcery because, as you can see, it's not highlighted. I can't click on this now. So this may be similar to a sorcery. I'm going to go ahead and attack with him. Let me stop time, take a look, see if I can do it now. I can. So I'm going to go ahead and deal it to the encounter and draw a card for free. Oof. Niv Mizzet, the Firemind. This is the face of the Mindstorm deck. So he is a flying 4/4 Dragon Wizard. Whenever you draw a card, he deals 1 damage to creature or player, and you can tap him to force a card draw. So at the very least, he can do the same thing these guys can do, tap and ping off a creature that's 1/1, or just deal a damage to him, which is what these guys can do. However, this will happen every time that I draw. So it'll happen by default at the beginning of every turn. I'll be able to deal 1 damage to something. And he did hit me. I don't care. I'm going to ping both his Hawks off anyway. Didn't get any lands, so not really anything that I can do. I can use Thunderstrike, which I might, to force a little more damage through on him. In fact, I'll probably apply that to him this turn. Let's go ahead and attack with this. Attack, stop, because there's a lot to do. So, Thunderstrike on him. Whoops, forgot it's on him now. Damage to encounter. Whoop. 1 damage to that Hawk. And then 1 damage to the player. So a lot going on this turn. Got a Volcanic Geyser. Becomes a 5/3. This gives him +2, and then you see there he gets +2 if I cast an instant or a sorcery. So that ended up cranking out 5 damage onto him. And then I do have too many cards in my hand. This is the danger of this deck, is you can get yourself in a little bit of a bad spot here. I'm going to get rid of this because this isn't useful in this particular case. There's no reason to hang on to it. What I need is another land so that I can play some of this, but it's not happening. I'm trying to draw out cards quickly with this dagger. Okay, is playing 2 per turn by this point, so let's go ahead and play a Lightning Elemental. And he does have haste, he'll be able to go right away. So I'm going to do... And I did have to discard 1 last time, so I'm not going to use the ability. I'm just going to go ahead and swing. Ping 1. Ping 2. So 6 damage going in. There we go. And nothing, so not even another Firehawk. This is the win then, guys. Second Lightning Elemental. Has haste. Just gonna swing with them. No reason to bother swinging with anyone else. Normally I would. I'd be worried this is some sort of instant, but I know it can't be because it's an encounter, and he has to follow his own rules. There we go. Defeated. Okay. I am going to try and keep the same deck. I do like the feel of the Mindstorm deck. We're going to go ahead and do the Cult of Flame encounter now. And then after that, we will probably end the video. I'll do a separate one for Garrick. So, Mindstorm, as you can see, Niv Mizzet, he is the face of this deck. He's the big deal. Alright. Let's go ahead. Let's see what I got here. I'm definitely going to end up binning this hand for sure. 1, because I only have 1 land, 2, because everything costs at least 4 to play, and 3, I drew into Living Inferno and Insurrection in the same turn. I'm not having that. This is much better. This is much better. I've got a pair of Steam Core Weirds here. So when he enters the battlefield, if I spend a mountain in this converted mana cost, he deals 2 free damage, which is awesome. Don't have enough lands to play him quite yet, but I will be able to play him on turn 4. This deck has a very, very, very much lack of one-turn cards. Not like the Goblin deck or Audric's deck, the Peacekeepers, the White Weenie deck. This one doesn't have a lot of creatures that cost 1 or 2. Most everything in this deck will cost 3 or higher. So this deck can be very expensive. That's really the one danger. Now, in the first encounter, the portrait was a Suntail Hawk. This turn, it's a Pyromancer. So, based on the first encounter, you can kind of guess what's going to happen here. And I did actually just get enough mountains. I'm going to start getting Steam Core Weirds out on my 4th turn. And that's probably going to be enough to get me the game, or at least close to it, for a little while. It's going to be enough to give me a handle on the game for the foreseeable future here. This is amazing, though. Mind Rack Liege. If you have the 6 to play it, then when he goes down into the field, instead of paying the cost of any other creature in your hand, you can simply pay this to play any creature. So all of your creatures now in your deck effectively have this cost. So again, that's another reason why I'm not so worried about having all these like high cost 5, 7, 6 creatures, because there are things like this. You're focused on drawing cards to get more lands to play them, or to get cards like this that'll let you play them for a much reduced cost. Now next turn I think we'll see him play his first card. Yeah? Yep, there we go. Prodigal Pyromancer, sorry. This is all his deck has. So it's very dangerous because they have this ping ability to deal 1 damage. So, and he's gonna keep playing these. He has an infinite number of these. Well, I guess not infinite. I suppose it is possible to mill the encounter and kill their deck size. That may actually be something worth considering, since every encounter has a very small deck compared to what you normally have. I'll have to try that sometime. I have to try some mill strategies on these. They'll probably work really well. Now, I'm not going to use Electrolyze, because I'm going to summon the Steam Core Weird. And then when I do this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to deal the 2 damage to the player, because when he summons a second one next turn, I'm probably going to hit it with... Actually, no, because I can share this to him as well. Yeah, no, never mind. So I am going to keep this. So next turn I'm going to do this to split the 2 and kill 2 of his cards off, because he will have 2. Reason why I don't want to use this on it is because I'm going to waste a point of damage, and I really don't want to waste anything. So I'm just going to play him directly to the player. He can't use the tap to ping back at me because it has Summoning Sickness. However, next turn he probably will tap and hit me. He's not going to be attacking directly with these, he's just going to be tapping them. There's the second one. So next turn I am going to ping off both of those with Electrolyze. Okay. So right here, Electrolyze, creatures. Now he is going to ping me with the one that he has, seeing that it's about to die. He will ping me with it. There we go. So there's the 1 damage, so I will take 1 for that. But that's fine. Picked a card, it was another Electrolyze, looking good. So I'm going to go ahead and swing for 1. Really no reason to hold on to people as blockers in this encounter, because again, he's just going to be using his creatures to ping, so he's not going to ever be attacking you directly anyway. You just need to make sure that you thin out the creatures pretty close to when they're summoned. You don't want to let him have a bunch of them at once, because if he had like 4 and then I somehow killed all 4, he'd also ping me for 4. So they will attack. He will use them to do damage even as they are dying themselves. I'm going to use this turn in between to play another Steam Core Weird. I'm going to get these Lightning Elementals out next. I just wanted to get him out so that I could put some damage on the player. But next turn I'm going to hit with an Electrolyze, then I'm going to start summoning these lightning elementals. There we go, there's another 1 damage. Only bad thing about these elementals is I am only going to get probably 1 use out of them, maybe 2 if I'm really lucky, because as you can see they are a 4/1, so he is going to be able to ping them off. These are too tough, he can't ping these off, so that's a thing. Alright, go ahead and play this island, and I'm probably going to play Electrolyze and then actually play Is It Chronarch so that I can grab Electrolyze back and then do it again is probably what I'm going to do. That's my plan for the moment. I'm just going to keep on swinging for 1 with these 2 in the meantime. So again, I'll get pinged for 1. Don't really care. Get those out of there. I am going to attack. I'm also going to pause and use this Thunder Strike here just for the 2 damage because there's no reason to hold on to this. Again, this isn't something that I'm going to need to give myself the edge in like a blocking encounter or something, giving me first strike. I'm not going to need to do that. So I'm just going to pop it on for some extra damage, swing for 4 here, bring him down to 10. Now I could be using Electrolyze on him, but the problem is it'll be really difficult to take out the Pyromancers without spells, because he's not going to use them to block. He's just going to keep them there and use them to ping. So that's mostly why I want to save those instants there. And then he did not play any, so what we're actually going to do then is we're going to go ahead and just play another Lightning Elemental. Because I do want to make as much use of these as I can, and if he doesn't have a creature to ping them, then that's when I'm going to get the most use. So I'm going to go ahead and swing for this. This is 6. And then next turn, whatever he summons will have Summoning Sickness. It won't be able to ping, so next turn I win the game. Next turn I'll swing for 6 again. He'll be at -2. So this is GG, since he did not play a Pyromancer. But you can kind of see the pattern here. So he plays Mountains, and then he'll begin playing Pyromancers. You get a 1-turn break, and now I believe he'll be playing 2 at a time now? No, not 2 at a time yet. I believe it does progress to 2 at a time at some point. However, at the moment, he keeps playing just 1. But you do get that kind of 1-turn grace period there, so if you're really, really in a bad spot, then you can kind of do some stuff to him then. But I mean, I've won the game, so it doesn't matter. Well, yeah, never mind, because I am going to play another Lightning Elemental. I'm going to play another Elemental because he could use this guy to block my 4/1, and then I'd only get 2 damage through. This way, I'll be getting 6 through no matter what he does, because I'll have 2 of these ones here. I just wanted to show you Dominus of Fieldy for a second. 5 to play, can be a mixture of anything. It's a flying creature 4/4, and at the beginning of every turn you have, you basically just take one of the other person's creatures, and then you untap it, and it gains haste. So, now what this is here, at the beginning of your upkeep, you may gain control of target permanent until end of turn. Untap it, and it gains haste. There's more to this, I believe, than meets the eye, but I haven't gotten the chance to test this yet. I believe that when it says gain control of target permanent and untap it, you could use this at the beginning of your turn to take one of the other person's lands, because that is a permanent card. You could use it to take one of their artifacts and use it for the turn. It is a permanent card. You could use it to snatch an enchantment off of them for 1 turn. That is a permanent card. So I don't know the limits of this because I haven't gotten to do it yet. I don't know if this is limited only to creatures or not. It would make sense if it was, but either way, as you can see, this is a very powerful card. And it's relatively cheap, only costing 5. I mean, again, I could play it now, but not going to. Could also play the Mind Rack Liege, which is an absolute beast. I'm very glad that I picked him. This is a very good card, since a lot of stuff in this deck does share color, so +1/+1 twice, depending on color, and then letting you play whatever is in your hand, any creature, for just the simple cost of 4. So if you get him, and you're able to play him, then you're able to play anything you pick until the end of the game, as long as this is within play, because this costs more than that, so that's pretty cool. But anyway, I'm going to stop talking so that we can just win this here and let you guys go. Swinging for 10. Yeah, and he has to block. He doesn't have a choice. But it doesn't matter. There we go. So, Prodigal Pyromancer deck completed. Again, only real danger of that is if you let them build up. If you're playing a deck like this one that I'm playing now, where you have a lot of damage spell abilities, then things like this are very easy for you. There's a lot of lightning spells in this deck that are kind of like Electrolyze. Instead of 2 damage, it's 3 divided up however I like. So the combination of those spells and Electrolyze and the ability of those blue guys that I played, I don't remember their name now, but the ones where if I spend a red mana they deal 2 damage, just all of those abilities put together, this deck has so much power to deal damage without really exposing yourself at all, because it's all spells and tapping abilities, so your stuff stays very safe. So I'm a big fan of the deck. But let's go back to the campaign ladder here. So next time we will do Garrick Wildspeaker, and this is a mono green deck, as you might be able to tell from his background here. So we'll see how that goes. Green decks usually have a lot of land and a lot of pretty beefy creatures in it. We're gonna see if I can get mine out before him because of my draw card ability here. But again, we're just gonna have to see what happens. So until then, this has been Legendary Narwhal, and I'll see you guys next time.